Good day, all. Today I'm going to teach you the poem 5 of your Flamingo textbook, A Roadside Stand by Robert Frost. As we all know, Robert Frost is an emotional kind of a poet. He deals with the emotions of every day to day feelings of all of us. In this poem, he feels for the roadside stand people, those little shops which villagers put on to run their daily home. Now, we go to malls, we spend money without bargaining when we go inside a mall because bargaining is not allowed. But when it comes to the street shops, we, without any shame, just bargain. Without even thinking, those people do not get much profit, not more than 2 rupees or 3 rupees. But still, we bargain and still they give. Because they want money at least to feed their children at home. We spend so much of money in the malls. For a 20 rupees item, we even spend 100 to 200 rupees just for the sake of posh, which you call as stylishness, don't we? So this poem deals with certain things of life where we need to think about it, where to bargain and where not to bargain. It is not about the talent of bargaining, but it is the talent of making others live too for their goodness. Poor people need love. They spread love everywhere. This poem tells us how these people suffer in their lives. Robert Frost, at one point, he was so deeply concerned that he prayed to God that all the poor people should die. Then he felt he was thinking about something which is very bad. Then he again prayed to God to kill him because he didn't want to see these poor people suffering. Now, let's go line by line of this beautiful poem and understand the depth of the poet's heart and also change our way of thinking towards the roadside stand people. The little old house was out with a little new shed in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled, it would not be fair to say for a dole of bread, but for some of the money, the cash whose flow supports the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. So over here the poet says the roadside stand has been put up or set up to request the fast speeding cars which stop and buy the goods being sold by the villagers. And the rural people, they desire to earn money by selling these products to the rich travelers from city so that they can improve their lives too. Now, these lines reflect the poor and miserable condition of the people who have set up these roadside stands. The rural people actually plead, beg in a pitiful manner to the rich people to buy their products. You might have seen when you go to the small shops on the roads, on the platforms, they keep on shouting their products. They beg you to buy at least one from them, don't you? But when you go into the malls, they are like, if you want to buy it, or I'll just keep going because they know that their products will attract you somehow. Over here, the rich people, they do not buy these things from these stands. They try to bargain or they stop their carts for some other reason but not for buying these products. The poet says that it is unfair, it's very unfair to say that these rural people beg. They do not beg alms, they do not beg. They are begging you to buy the products which they are trying to sell. He says that all they want is you to buy their products. They are ready to reduce the price and give it to you. The roadside stand, they have put it at the edge of the roads where the traffic stops so that you can see them and buy them. So the little old house, he says the little old house is out with a little new shed. So they're trying to make their house, they are trying to make their homes look beautiful with whatever money they are getting. Now going to the second stanza. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead, or if ever aside a moment, then Now let's go to the second stanza. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead, or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts, at having the landscape marred with the artless paint of signs that with N turned wrong and S turned wrong. Offered for sale wild berries in wooden quarts, or crook-necked golden squash with silver warts, or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain scene. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money this crossly and go along? So the poet is calling the city people insensitive. He says they are indifferent and unconcerned about the roadside villagers, the poor villagers. Yes, the city people, they are criticizing the rural people for constructing the stands on the platform. Many times we say, right, there's no place to walk also. Why these people have kept shops out here? It is not because they want to have fun, but it is because they want to earn some money to feed their family. So the city people show their displeasure towards the wrong signs. You might have seen many memes, you might have seen many such shops where the spellings are wrong. If they were well educated, don't you think that they will have shops? Why would they even keep on the roadside stands? That's what he says. Sometimes the N is put wrong in the wrong place, S is put in the wrong place. They are not educated. They are trying to develop. They feel that maybe the signboards will help them to sell their products. But these things also become a mockery thing, become a mocking stuff for the people who are walking by. They are just making fun of these people. He says that the city people are having enough money, but they are very mean. They go and do window shopping on the roadside stand also. They go, they ask for all the products, but they never ever buy. He says, what is the use of having so much of money in your pockets when you don't want to help these kind of people who are not begging but trying to live their lives by selling some products which are useful for us. He says that the rural people sell even the wild berries, golden squashes, and pictures of beautiful landscapes. You might have seen people selling the sceneries, right? It will be costing some 50 rupees or 20 rupees. In that also we start bargaining. But when you go to the malls, the same stupid sheet will be sold there for 250 or 600 or 700. We will buy it and paste it in our house. That's what the poet says. We are so mean, we are so foolish. We try to mock these people but end up being foolish, end up being doing some nonsense which is not correct and hurt these people. Now going to the third stanza. The hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to feel in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand and give us the life of the moving pictures promise that the party in power is said to be keeping from us. So, what is he saying? The rural people are very, very innocent and they are ignorant. They are very, very ignorant. Ignorant means those who do not have much knowledge. They are very, very innocent. And they are also unaware that the city people are making fun of them. They are coming and exploiting them and they are trying to get benefits from at their cost. That, like I'm telling you, for if they are selling for 20 rupees, you ask them for 10 rupees. Yes, they speak very nice. You see, I'm going to buy 6 or 7. Please give it to me. Please see that see that you give me at least 6, 7. And those people, they believe those things and they sell it at a low cost. So they exploit them. The rural people ask for money from the city people in order to raise their standard of living. And a prosperous life with improved standard. They try to improve their standards by selling these products. Yes, and these rural people, they enjoy the life and comforts. They sometimes, you might have seen these people, for example, we see in so many movies where the villagers are given promises that they will be given a house for themselves and they make them sign their lands and take it. The same way, false promises are given to these people and they believe it and fall into the traps of the city people. Now the rural dwellers believe the city people for money and that can improve their comfortable lives. They take they give the charge. So they think that these city people give them money, give them false promises, and they think that it can help them to live a comfortable life. Okay, so as shown in the movies, as shown in the movies, like they get promised by the political parties, it actually happens. It is true. Yes, let us go to the next stanza. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in, to live in villages next to the theatre and the store, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore, while greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey, swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits that are calculated to soothe them out of their wits, and by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. Destroy their sleeping at night the ancient way. So in this part of it, we can understand how these people are manipulated, how these people are made fools. Yes, who are made fools? The rural people are made fools by the city people. He says that it is in the news that the poor are to be relocated to their surroundings. They say that we'll give you a good house near the theaters, you'll have schools out there, and these poor people give away their lands, give away their jobs, thinking that the city people are going to keep them in a comfortable zone. They do all these in for a motive. The city people do this for their selfish motives. The politicians and the government exploit these poor people by offering them benefits that are supposed to solve their problems, but in reality they only add or impose more and more problems in a different nature by making them feel cheated. They will not have any place to live. Poor things, they are dragged down to the roads. Now, by offering them free benefits like housing and other facilities, they actually rob the poor people their voice of protest, and they also make them feel falsely secured. They do not give them any security. And he also says that the politicians in power and in the oppositions are referred to as beasts. Beasts means something equal to devils. They, both the parties, actually keep these poor people in between and play their game, saying that they will do something for them, but at the last they do not have even a place to stay. He says that they have a calculated move to do all the false promises to the rural people. They promise that they will be relocated. What do you mean by relocated? They will be given a better place to live. But the actual truth is they are not given anything at all. He says that these comforts actually distract these people because they have never seen anything in their lives. Small things also, they feel happy about it. When they are given false promises, they think that to be true. The poet thinks that these good doers are actually greedy beasts and devils. He feels that they just reap benefits out of the poor people's hard work. Yes, the poem is little big actually. Yes, yeah. The next fifth stanza. Sometimes I feel myself I can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain. The sadness that lurks near the open window there, that waits all day in almost open prayer. For the squeal of brakes, the sound of a stopping car, of all the thousand selfish cars that pass. So he says that the poet feels so sad, he feels pained to see all these long wait of the customers by the rural people. When they see such a long queue, they feel happy that so many people are going to buy from them. But it is not actually done so. He says that the villagers, they wait the whole day to sell their products. They think that the customers are stopping by to buy their products. He says that the longing is termed as a child who sits near the window waiting for the parent to buy something for them, but at the end gets dejected when the parent doesn't bring anything. The same way, the villager, right from the morning, he thinks that all the customers who are stopping near their roadside stand shops are going to buy something, but at the end of the day, they don't buy anything. He says that the expression of the villager is that they are very, very sad. None of them buy. They either stop there and ask for a address, or they just ask for a route and they just pass. So he says that the expression of out here means that the villagers feel sad waiting all day at the open windows as nobody buys. Open windows means the car windows. When they put it down, they think that they are going to buy something. But by these selfish cards, the poet actually means the insensitive, indifferent and unconcerned city people who never ever bother about the villagers' life. Now, going to the next stanza. Just want to inquire what a farmer's prices are, and one did stop, but only to plough up grass, in using the art to back and turn around, and another to ask the way to where it was bound, and another to ask could they sell it a gallon of gas. They couldn't. This crossly they had none. Didn't it see? So now, like I told you, the customers actually stopped only to ask for an address or to back their car, asking them to move from there, or they try to mock them asking, do you sell petrol for our cars, which is not possible by the roadside stand people. He says that these people do not have heart, they are heartless. Now going to the last stanza. No, in country money, the country scale of gain, the requisite lift of spirit has never been found. Or so the voice of the country seems to complain. I can't help warning the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain, and then next day as I come back into the scene, I wonder how I should like you to come to me and offer to put me gently out of my pain. So what does the poet say here? He means that to say that the condition of the villagers can never ever improve in our country. He says that it is sad that they are deprived of their due share of fortune. Even they have the rights to live, but none of them help them, none of them buy from them. Instead they bargain, they mock, they just shoo them off as if they are beggars. He says that the country people keep on complaining even though they enjoy everything in their life. But these people, the village people, the city people complain, country people means the village people, they do not have anything to complain about because they do not have anything at all. So they don't have money to buy anything, they do not have any profits, they don't have anything in their lives to complain because they don't know what is complaining. They just want to live. The poet proposes to kill the villagers. Like I told you in the starting of the poem itself, he proposes, he tells God, please kill these villagers. Why should they bear all these things? Why are they why are they happy getting nothing in their lives? They do not know what life is. They are being fooled. Why doesn't God kill them? He cries for them. He says over here, the poor people, he says, you people do not have the rights to live because you don't know how to live. It is not out of anger, it is not out of hatred, it is out of love. He feels so much of love for them. He wants them to be happy, and he doesn't understand why they are living like this. So he's praying to God to kill them. Then when again he understands, when he regains his wisdom, what is he asking about? How can he ask God to kill them? He prays to God that why don't you kill me so that I don't see all these pain, all these sufferings of these village people who don't even know that they are suffering, still yet have something, like they keep on thinking, they keep on waiting like a child that someday something is good going to happen. So next time when you go to buy at a roadside stand, do not bargain, but understand the hard work they do. Give them the money which is required. You know that they do not sell out of profit, but they sell out of love and passion for their family. Help them, live them, and so help them and make them also enjoy the little things of life. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.